Hey guys, DC Multiverse Dude here. Really excited to be bringing you this early look at these DC Multiverse Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom Black Manta action figures. Now, thanks to McFarlane Toys and Head Start Toys, I have a range of figures from the Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom line to review, including these awesome Black Manta figures we've got here, the Aquaman variants, the classic suit, the stealth suit, and also the King Kordax action figure. But those will wait for another day. Today, we are looking at Black Manta, both the 7-inch scale figure and the 12-inch statue. Really stoked to be looking at these. I think the Black Manta movie design is actually awesome. I think it was really awesome in the first movie. I think it looks even more awesome in the second movie in terms of the design. Yeah, really stoked to be looking at these, comparing them. As soon as I see them, I have immediate thoughts, and you might be able to guess what I'm about to say, but we'll get to that in the review. Don't know how the movie is going to turn out. That's sort of an open question. We've only just seen some marketing. The trailer looked absolutely insane, and I thought the first Aquaman was a huge amount of fun, like corny, goofy fun, and I'm hoping the second one is just as fun. But without further ado, let's have a quick look at these boxes and then get the figures open. So the 7-inch Black Manta, you'll see Black Manta, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Some very nice art. You'll see in the art that Black Manta is holding a trident that we see in the trailer. That will become important later, so pay attention. Yeah, but otherwise, pretty standard DC Multiverse box art. The 12-inch statue is much the same in every respect, including the art on the back. So without any further ado, let's open these up and take a look. Okay, starting with the 12-inch Black Manta statue. This is Black Manta from the Aquaman 2 movie in his 12-inch form. This is a non-posable figure, so it is a statue. This is everything that comes in the box. Let's just get that out of the way first. We have a trading card, as you'd expect, with that comic art, sort of based on the movie design, which is quite cool. Excuse my Frozen 2 Band-Aid, I cut myself this morning. And here we have the bio for the movie version of David Hyde / Black Manta, a really cool villain. I thought he was really fun in the first Aquaman, and hopefully he's good fun in the sequel as well. So there's the trading card, and there is also this comically large display stand. So this is just like the standard DC Multiverse 7-inch display stand, but about 50 times bigger. You could cook a pizza on this. It's massive. It's just, fairly light, fairly plain. It's got 2 pegs for his feet. I'll show you how that attaches. There you go. All right, and those go in, quite tight. So that's nice. He also comes with this trident, which will be relevant when I'm discussing the 7-inch figure. This trident came in 2 pieces. The tip comes off. It allows you to thread it through his hand. Interestingly, I couldn't get the trident any further in his grip than that. I couldn't extend this forward. These ridges here sort of stop it from passing through his grip. I'm sure if you warmed it up with hot water, you could sort of force it through, but I'm wondering if maybe intentionally they want you to pose it like this, with sort of the majority of the trident behind him. I'm not going to heat him up now to try, but consider this. If you're trying to pose this on a shelf, you'll have to allow for some space for the trident, because you can't articulate that hand, I think, at all. No. So the hand doesn't articulate at all. From what I can tell, there is absolutely no articulation on this guy whatsoever, which is fine. He's a statue, but just bear that in mind when you're sort of considering space issues. So yeah, in terms of the actual statue itself, it's big. It's not prohibitively big. It's about 12 inches. I'll bring in the 7-inch Black Manta for scale. So there's your 7-inch. He probably comes at about 10, 11 inches. He's sort of hunched over a little bit. I'm sure if you extended him to full scale, like standing up straight, he would be about 12. But, there, you can see the difference there. Substantial size difference. Yeah, I mean, what is there to say about this guy? You either love the design or you don't. I think this design is great. The first Aquaman Black Manta had a more militaristic look to his armor. Aquaman 2 seems to have given Black Manta a more comic accurate, sleeker design. Much more streamlined. This is all just sort of it has musculature, but not much in the way of apparatus or technical elements, which, I think that's a really nice design. In terms of proportions, I think this guy's really, really good. It's obviously based on sort of real human being proportions rather than comic book proportions because it's based on a movie, but like I think that works. I think he looks really, really good. Obviously the head is oversized as you would want. You know, that's kind of the appeal of Black Manta. In terms of the head sculpt, I think it looks really, really good. The eyes are like translucent red plastic rather than flat paint, which gives them some depth, which I really, really like. All of this silver here appears to be paint. It's not the greatest paint in the world, like it's not super chrome, but you know, it's not bad. It's better than the molded plastic that has all that pearlescent sort of marbling in it. You'll see there's some line work up here, which is quite nice. Going to his backpack or his jetpack, you'll see that these tubes attaching to his jetpack, they are rigid, but they've been given a really nice wash. So that brings out all that nice sculpted detail. And the jetpack itself, or the water pack, whatever you want to call it, has also been given a wash, unlike the rest of the silver. So that kind of gives it sort of a lived-in feel. Really nice paintwork with the red there. The detail is really, really nice. You'll see in terms of other bits of paintwork, you know, he's got these nice sort of gauntlets, which again have been given a wash, so they look a bit dirty, which I think is intentional. And overall, this is just, you know, it's a really, really attractive statue, if you're into statues, I guess. He doesn't do much other than look cool, but in terms of looking cool, I think he looks really cool. Like, I can't argue with that. It's just a really awesome design of a really awesome figure from the comics, character from the comics who already has an awesome design. So, yeah, I mean, if you're into it, it's a winner, I think. Will I be sort of displaying this proudly? Yeah, it won't be with my standard 7-inch collection. I'll give it its own pride of place somewhere else, but a great piece. I think, you know, I'll talk about this more with the 7-inch figure. I think I'm really impressed just with the subtle detailing on this suit. Like, it kind of has like a really fine texture to it when it could have just been solid plastic with no texture. I think this brings it to life. It gives it some verisimilitude. It gives it some reality. And overall, he just looks like a worthy collectible. Like, you know, he retails, I believe, for $40 US. And to me, I think it's a steal. Like, you know, it's not a Hot Toys. You know, it's not a Sideshow Collectibles. It's a $40 McFarlane 12-inch statue. I think it's kind of, you know, an awesome deal. Like, if you're a fan of this character, you know, this is just, you know, it's a great statue of the source material at a really great price. So definitely a winner. Okay, turning our attention now to the 7-inch Black Manta figure. Here's everything you get in the box. So you get these two jet effects that plug into his jetpack at the back. I'll show you what that looks like later. They're that standard sort of red translucent plastic. We've seen similar pieces before with characters who fly with packs. The trading card is exactly the same as the 12-inch statue. Notice how the art has him holding the black trident. Anyway, and otherwise he comes with a flight stand, the standard McFarlane flight stand. And I've been complaining recently that characters that can fly don't come with flight stands. Not always, and it always annoys me. So I'm really grateful McFarlane recognises this is a figure worthy of a flight stand. You want to pose him in sort of a swimming position, you know, doing some aerial battles or sort of underwater battles with Aquaman floating. I love that. But you've noticed the glaring omission by now, haven't you? He comes with absolutely no weapons whatsoever. So that black trident that the 12-inch statue had, he doesn't come with one. He doesn't come with swords. He doesn't come with like guns. No knives, nothing. So in my mind, my initial reaction when I see this figure in terms of his accessories is he's incomplete. I would have traded the flight stand in for a weapon any day of the week. I shouldn't have to trade it in. I should be able to get both. But not having a weapon with this figure has already sort of put me offside. So let's just get that out of the way, which it annoys me because the figure itself is actually, like, from initial impressions, is actually really, really great. So I'm going to cheat a little bit for this review because I'm going to give him the black trident that comes with King Kordax. So this is the King Kordax figure. I'm not reviewing him today. He comes with a black trident, okay? I've removed this from the box. And I'll review him another day, but for today's purposes, I'm going to lend Black Manta this trident that he should have come with. So we'll pose him up with that later. But it's a real bummer that, you know, another figure comes with the accessory that this figure should have come with. Now, I know in the movie, I'm sure the Black Trident belongs to King Kordax, and then Black Manta takes it. I'm sure that's a plot point or something similar. Sorry if that's a spoiler, I'm just guessing. But, you know, I just think it's inconceivable that a figure like Black Manta, who's known for his sort of tech weaponry and, you know, physical combat, does not come with a weapon. He comes with these grippy hands, you know. He's meant to come with a weapon. So I don't know what's going on here. If McFarlane thinks that we're just going to buy the whole wave and then mix and match the weapons around, I just don't think that's good enough. Like, it's a little bit cheap to me. If a concession had to be made, I think the flight stand should have gone. You know, if it was a budgetary issue, drop the flight stand, make sure the figure comes with the basic things he needs to be like a compelling figure. I can't pose this figure as it is with any other figure in any sort of dynamic combat pose because he just doesn't have any weapons. So anyway, I don't want to go on about it too much. I just think it's really disappointing, and it's something you should be aware of. If you're just going to pick up Black Manta but not King Kordax, you won't have any weapons. You won't have this trident that he has in the movie. You'll have to poach some weapons from some of your other figures. So something to be aware of. Anyway, let's have a look at the figure in a little bit more detail and see how cool he is anyway. So putting the issue of accessories to one side, this is a really, really cool figure. Like with the 12-inch statue, I think this is an awesome design for Black Manta. It could pass for a comic version of Black Manta very, very easily. It's very classic looking. You'll see I've plugged the jet effects into the pack. They look pretty good. Where to start? I think we'll start with the head sculpt. Looks just as good in 7-inch scale as it does in 12-inch scale. Same sort of translucent red plastic in the eyes, great depth and personality. Again, all that nice line work. I think the line work might even be nicer on the 7-inch compared to the 12-inch. It's a bit more noticeable, less subtle. The paint's quite, it's a bit splotchy. Like if you look sort of near his eyes and just his head, there's a little bit of like messiness there. It's not too bad. It kind of gives it some texture, I guess, some reality to it. The red paint on the helmet looks really, really good. Like it's very, very neat, not much slop. The sculpt itself is obviously really good. You'll see that the little tubes at the top have got great sculpted detail and have been painted really, really nicely. I think a little wash might be applied there to bring out some details. And just like on the 12-inch, there's some really nice sculpted detail on the pack, and the red paint is applied really nicely as well. So really can't complain about the sort of sculpt and paint. I mean, looking at the body, great musculature, great texture on the suit, that sort of leathery wetsuit look. You'll see that a wash has been applied to the torso, so there's like a blue wash there, which really brings out that sculpt. The wash has not been applied to the arms, which appear to be more black. Yeah, there's no wash on the arms, but there is wash on the legs there. You'll see just on that sort of pouch there, on the knee, that's in blue plastic. The shoes look like, or his boots look like he's got a little bit of blue wash. So it's sort of a mix and match of painted and unpainted, and you know, a mix of textures as well. But I think you can't deny that when Todd does these movie figures, he really, really does them well. He obviously pours a lot of money and time and attention into the sculpts and paintwork, more than his regular line, figures in, the comic line, which is a bit frustrating, but we'll take what we can get. I think this is good, and I've got to commend him for it. This gauntlet piece, again, really nice sculpt work. The paint is good. Nice line work on the upper bicep. It's a handsome figure. The ball joints, they're the sculpted joints that we like. Really nice sort of creasing there. Yeah, I mean, this is a great looking figure, guys. It's awesome. The one thing I don't like, I think, on reflection, is this diaper piece. I know everyone's always complaining about the diaper, me included. It's because it is a bit of an awkward design choice. It works better on some figures than others. I think with Black Manta, this just looks too high. Like, it's just very, very big. It looks like he's wearing granny pants. I think maybe they could have maybe shaped it a bit better or made it a bit smaller so that you could see his belly button area. I don't know. Like, it looks like he's wearing massive underpants. And there's a wash here and then that's black. So you can actually see the divide really, really clearly. It stands out a lot. Let's have a quick look at his articulation. This will be interesting. So the head, you get a little bit of side tilt, left and right. Yeah, That's pretty good. And these tubes, I was worried that these tubes would inhibit articulation. At least side to side, the tubes are flexible enough that they'll actually allow that. In terms of looking down, he looks down a bit. Yeah, you won't get much more than that. Looking up, oh yeah, see, he looks up a little bit, but the nature of the peg, I think in there means it's inhibited, and also these tubes don't allow him to look up. They flex naturally and want to force the head down. So you won't get much looking up or down, depending on how you want to pose him. That may or may not be a problem. Head swivel, yeah, he does. You'll get about that much without breaking these tubes. I think you've just got to be really careful with this guy. I could imagine these tubes popping off. I don't know if they do naturally pop off. They don't look like it. They look like they're all attached to the sculpt. So you've got to be a bit careful. Yeah, in the other direction about that much. So it's probably okay. Like you can't lose the tubes, right? The tubes are a must. They're pretty flexible. I think McFarlane's done what he can with the design, and it's good. It's good enough for me. In terms of the arms, he's got the butterfly joint that looks quite nice. He's got a swivel at the bicep, double jointed elbows, works quite well. Wrists are the sculpted ball joints, and there's a swivel and a hinge there. A little bit stiff. I'm going to try and loosen it up. Yeah, it's what you expect. It's better than what you'd expect for some figures, I've got to say. Same on the other side. In terms of the diaphragm, he can, you get that much. Yeah, it's a bit stiff and about that much. Probably all that you need. He swivels at the waist as well. You know, quite good for what you'd want to do with him. In terms of crunch, there's like zero crunch. He will not bend forward at the waist or at the diaphragm, which is interesting. If you look at how tight this diaphragm cut is, like there's no space there. So you can see why. It just won't go any further. In terms of leaning back, you won't get much either. So he's very stiff around here. Like, yeah, it's very tight, but I kind of don't care because it keeps the sculpt looking really, really clean. So I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think about that concession. In terms of the legs, he'll kick out almost 90 degrees, but again, the diaper inhibits that. I don't know why the diaper needs to be so low around there. And you can see that plastic is already bending. I think with repeated use, you'd get a bit more out of it, but yeah, not too much, but probably enough. Like, I think okay. Double jointed knees. He can almost kick his own butt, but not quite. It looks okay. What have we got? We've got obviously no swivel cut here, but barely anything. So you can't rotate him at the thigh. No rotation at the boots, but he's got the standard McFarlane ankle joints. So, there's the pivot from side to side. There's a rocker. Does he have toe articulation? Yes, he does. The standard toe articulation. So in terms of articulation, he's not the greatest, but I think he's good enough. And I think that the issues with articulation are offset by the benefits you get from the sculpt and the look. The diaper piece inhibits articulation more than I would like, and I think that could have been done better. But if you just want to get him in like a dynamic sort of combat pose on a flight stand, he's going to be able to do what you want him to do, right? And you're going to get enough personality out of him that you're going to be able to make him look cool, in my opinion. It's not the best articulation I've ever seen, and it's definitely not the worst. Okay, so I just wanted to show you guys what he looks like with the King Cordak's Black Trident accessory in his hand. Now, I'm a terrible poser. I'm renowned for my inability to pose a figure to look cool. I'll leave that to others. But, even without my... even with my lack of skill, you can see that he looks so much better posed holding that trident. It just gives him so much more of a dynamic feel, so much more playability, so much more fun factor. On a shelf holding that trident, it really completes the character. And it's terrible that he doesn't come with this. And that's my biggest knock, because this is an awesome figure otherwise. And it's just a crazy oversight to me. I don't think I'll ever get over it. But anyway, it is what it is. Just be aware. I had to heat up Black Manta's hand in some hot water to make it pliable enough to force that trident in. It went in really, really easily after about 30 seconds in hot water. So no issues there. He's made to hold this trident. He clearly is made to hold it, and he should have come with it. So that's all I'll say about that. My opinion is on the record now. Why don't we turn to some comparisons with some other relevant figures? Okay, first comparison I wanted to do was with the Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom Aquaman figure. There are two variants of this. There's a stealth suit variant, and then there's a more classic suit variant, which I think looks way better, but we'll get to that. I haven't unboxed him yet because I haven't reviewed him yet. So this comparison will have to be just an in-box comparison. I'll do a full out-of-box comparison when I review this guy, which should be really, really soon. So please subscribe and get your notifications on for that. It'll be coming very shortly. But anyway, you can see that even just like this, they look great together, and it would be awesome to pose them together in like a battle pose, you know. And yet another reason why it really, really sucks that Black Manta doesn't come with a weapon. So yeah, looks good next to Aquaman, which you would hope. Next, I thought I would compare him to the Endless Winter Aquaman, probably the most classic Aquaman that we've got. The Page Punches is pretty good too. But, you know, in terms of a comic design, this is sort of the cleanest, the most classic comic booky. That head sculpt, you know, it's the long hair head sculpt. But, you know, do these guys look good together? Yeah. Do they match? Yep. The style will match. You put these on the shelf together, they'll look great. You know, pit them against each other in battle, they'll look awesome. Which I think is a really big plus for this Black Manta. He's comic booky enough that you can put him in whatever display you want and he'll look amazing. Just for a similar type of comparison, here he is against the new 52 Ocean Master, two classic Aquaman villains. I think these two go awesome together. From color scheme, they've both got red eyes and that sort of purplish blue hue to them, to the silver. Like, they just go together really well. I think, you know, you're trying to assemble the rogues for Aquaman, these two look perfect next to each other. Orm and Black Manta. Great, you know? So that's that. Finally, the most interesting comparison to me is the comparison with the Page Punches Black Manta. So I didn't review this, but I had him on my top 10 for the first half of the year for a reason. He rocks. He's an awesome Black Manta figure. The first Black Manta figure we got in McFarlane DC Multiverse. Here's the comparison. So obviously they're two very different styles. Page Punches has a unique comic book style based on the exclusive comic. It kind of resembles some of the animated Black Mantas that we've seen, with that sort of more narrower head with the, you know, silver around the eyes and black, you know. But generally, like, let's call it a unique design. I thought it was fantastic when I looked at it for the first time. I still think it's fantastic. What strikes me when I look at these two together is that, one, they're both fantastic. Two, they're both valid interpretations of Black Manta. Three, I think they would both look good in your Aquaman display, and it's sort of up to you which one is your sort of aesthetic preference. I'll definitely be keeping both. I can't live without them. The Page Punches Black Manta is going to be on my top figures for the end of year as well, unless there's so many awesome figures coming out that he gets knocked off his perch. Yeah, two awesome Black Mantas for you to choose from for your display, whether it's a movie display, a comic book display, they both rock. What I will say about Page Punches Black Manta, and I don't want to be boring about this, is that he just came with awesome accessories, you know? Like, he didn't come with a flight stand, but he came with these detachable blades. Oh, sorry. He came with these detachable blades that you can sort of yank out. There were two of these. I've put one in storage because I only need one, but, you know, he came with two blades that you could put in or out. He came with this amazing looking trident with all this detail, you know, like, just awesome looking. And he was a complete figure, you know, and I could get past the flight stand. Because you can get flight stands, you know, you can get them from third parties, you can get them, you know, from your other figures. But you can't get like these awesome looking accessories from other figures, you know, like, these are things that need to come in the package. And I think the calculus was wrong on this Black Manta. If we had to lose plastic to meet the budget, flight stand should have gone, trident should have come in, or at least some other weapon, you know, a small blade or something. As it is, you know, which do I prefer? I can't really pick. I think if Aquaman 2 Black Manta had come with proper accessories, he might take it out. I think that if this figure had come with the accessories he was meant to come with, he'd be on the top 10 of the year. At the moment, I don't know. I'd have to sort of process my feelings over the next couple of months, but it's one of the clearest cases of like an awesome figure that's just incomplete, but incomplete in like a really egregious way. So really, really interesting one. But yeah, I've probably gone on long enough. So that's my look, my early review at the Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom Black Manta figures and, well, 12-inch statue and 7-inch action figure. I love these a lot, okay? I think the design is on point. I think the sculpt is on point. I think the price point is on point. You know, these aren't the collector's edition figures that are $10 more expensive, or the builder figures that are more expensive, or the page punches that are more expensive. These are, you know, this 7-inch Black Manta is in the standard line, 20 US bucks or whatever it is now for a standard figure. It's about $40 Australian, which is okay, better than the competition. You know, it wins. These win on every level for me, except in terms of accessories for the 7-inch. I just think it's a fatal flaw, right? And I think I can't recommend the 7-inch Black Manta unless you are going to get the King Court Axe as well to get the trident. Or if you otherwise have accessories, maybe you can borrow an accessory from another figure like a knife or something, just to give Black Manta something to do, something to hold. But yeah, otherwise, look, with that caveat, you know, aside, I think these are awesome, you know, and you should buy them. If you like them, you should buy them. So yeah. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. Am I making too much of a big deal out of the lack of accessory, or, you know, yeah, give me a sanity check. You know, I'm kind of still a little bit in shock that he didn't come with a weapon. So I might be crazy. Anyway, keep an eye out on the channel. Please subscribe, like, turn your notifications on, because I'm going to be reviewing the Aquaman variants and the King Court Axe figure really, really soon on the channel. You don't want to miss that. Yeah, until next time, happy collecting and thank you for watching.